photo booth.
Do you know what I'm in? I'm in my self-tape corner.
Fantastic.
Yes,
So
I-
you take
I-
lots of... But you paint?
No, I'm an actress.
To get home, just in case I can
Brilliant.
get back.
And
But
this
yeah,
is where I
excellent.
luckily had the
I
camera.
painted the house.
Well, listen, let's talk a little bit because when I grew up, people, one of the main things on the It's a real pleasure to be able to introduce the key players, mainly all in New York. There's one in Romania, so that's rather nice too, which makes it very worldwide. So without further ado, I'm really looking forward to this experience.
September 19th.
June 2nd.
May 30th.
June 7th.
October 19th.
September 16th.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hey guys, welcome back. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be making something that I really miss from home. I'm wearing makeup for the first time in 6 months and it feels unnecessary. It's the kind of makeup that felt really good going on, but now it's kind of sinking into my skin and I'm actually really excited to take it off. But I'll probably FaceTime my mom after this because she'll be excited that I'm wearing makeup. So last night, I decided to make these chocolate chip cookies to distract myself from my phone. And I'm adding the very last bit of salt. And breaking news, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Fuck. I spill a third of the fucking bright pink Himalayan Marshall's crisis purchase pandemic buy into the bowl, and now it looks like a fucking Malibu Barbie anthill in my cookie batter. And I just like, I sob, like weep. It's the saddest bowl of cookie batter you've ever seen in the whole world, and I'm crying because I bought fucking semi-sweet chocolate chips because I'm trying to make good choices, but clearly I can't because I'm in New York City all alone and I don't know how to deal with any more. I can't handle any more. I'm not watching the news because I'm using my hands to distract myself, but it's on because there's always something on, and I just, I miss Irish woman. I have absolutely no idea how to respond to 2020. I don't know how to make content. I decided to turn the mixer on and just let all of the fucking pink Instagram salt just fold into the dough, because fuck it, it's gone now anyway. It tastes like shite, and I'll just let it be what it is. And so it folds into the dough because I don't want to pick it out. It's done. The batter turns pink and I roll them out and I put them in the oven. My leg feels the same way it has been. You know, the person that I was back in early March would have thrown that entire batch of cookies out and probably tried again. But it's September. And I ate 6 of those 35 angry, bitter, sour, seashell tasting cookies. A progression.
A progression? No. No, I don't think so. There's no progress being made over here. It's just another day, another morning. What if I didn't even brush my teeth today, huh? Would it matter? I'm not gonna see anybody. Just Zoom meetings all day. Mute, unmute myself, mute, unmute myself. I'm so fucking sick of it. No, I'm not even gonna shower today. No. I'm just gonna watch porn. Maybe order a pizza. I painted this bathroom 3.5 years ago. Do you like it? I mean, it's not a very good paint job, but my ex painted it when we moved in, white and black vertical bars. He thought it looked chic, you know, he was into that kind of stuff. My ex, my friend, he's my friend. I don't know, do I call him my ex or do I call him my friend? I always thought it looked like a prison, black and white vertical bars. And now I'm literally in a prison, a pampered purple prison. You know, I have nothing to complain about. I mean, I'm a white person. You know, these are white people problems. My friend is gonna go to a protest today in Brooklyn. Should I go? I don't know. Are people gonna be wearing masks? I mean, I've known 3 people now who've died of COVID. I keep thinking about that video, that George Floyd. It's like so stupid. You know, black people are being murdered by the police, and what am I doing about it? Sitting in my bathroom doing nothing? I mean, you know, I pride myself on being an artist. I'm such a fucking narcissist. All I do all day is play the piano. You know, I write. It's Tuesday, so I have my theater group today. It's a Zoom theater group, so don't get excited. What is that gonna do? I'm just gonna read lines that somebody else wrote. I mean, what the fuck? What good is this doing to anybody? I mean, obviously people are surviving without art right now. Broadway's closed down. Who knows when that's gonna reopen? I'm fucking worthless. So really, what's the point? I mean, what's the point of my life? And what good is art?
There's a new me coming out, and I just want to live, and I just gotta give. I'm completely positive. I think this time.
Sorry. I'm completely positive. Seriously, what is the point? I mean, I'm up here in Toronto, and I haven't seen my family in months. I chose to be up here to wait things out, because at first it was only going to be a couple of weeks, then maybe a month, maybe two. And here we are, facing so many crises. And I'm trying to make this video for our Pride concert. And I'm trying to figure out what I'm proud of right now. I deleted my social media. I had seen too many times that 8 minutes and 46 seconds of that poor man struggling to breathe. I saw the video of that young boy running and getting shot at by these two men because he was out running. I saw the video of that girl in Central Park calling the police because some bird watcher asked her to leash her dog. And that was within a week of each other, you know? How can I be proud when I just see my people being hurt day in and day out, month in, month out, year in, year out, decade, centuries? And not just Black people, gay people, trans people. I mean, what's the number today? 37 of my beautiful Black trans sisters and brothers being killed. What is that to be proud of? What do we have to say about that? I mean, all of them, I guess, were doing what they wanted to do. George Floyd went to go buy cigarettes. The guy in Central Park wanted to watch birds. Many of my trans brothers and sisters were out just having a good time. They were living their lives. Is that what I have to do? Is that my protest? I got to go for a run today, this morning. Nobody was behind me, checking me out. I went to the park, I listened to the birds. I went to the store to buy this little bonnet for this video with a mask on, and nobody bothered me. And now I'm here making this Pride video for this concert. I guess at the end of the day, we all have to just be persistent and do what we have to do to survive and do what we have to do to bring us joy. And maybe that's what I can channel into now. My life, my being, my doing what I want to do is protest. My art, my life is protest. Okay.
There's a new me coming out, and I just want to live, and I just want to give. I'm completely positive. I think this time around, I am gonna do it like you never knew it. I'll make it through. The time has come for me to break out of my shell. I wanna shout that I am coming out. Yeah, yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. I needed that today.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It's Sunday. But if I've learned anything over the past few months, it's that the units that we use to measure time don't really matter unless they directly coincide with immediate action. Otherwise, they dissolve like lumps of sugar. Uh, hey, let's hang out. When? 7 minutes from now? 45 minutes from now? Because any plans made more than an hour into the future feel like fantasies waiting to be shredded by the claws of our collective depression. I would almost always rather fall asleep than see anybody. So I've become a master of excuses, but I mean, why can't I just tell the truth? Why can't I just say, hey, I remembered who's in charge and now I'm just tired. Or I was just reminded of how little my life is worth and I think maybe now I just need a nap. Or how about, it just dawned on me how none of the old problems have actually gone away. It's just the new problems are so big that the old ones look trivial by comparison, and we haven't actually solved anything. So I think it would be best if I just closed my eyes for a moment. I mean, could I say that to people without them getting their feelings hurt? Or maybe they feel the same. How amazing would it be if I could say, you're beautiful, and I think I would have seen a future with you back in January, but now I can't see the future at all. And also every time I kiss you, there's this tiny thought in the back of my head that insists that it could kill us both. I mean, some people find that sexy. I bet there's a name for people who get off on the danger of having sex during a pandemic. Sick fucks, maybe. I, on the other hand, am simultaneously repulsed by touch, but so desperately in need of it. I need my body to be squeezed, twisted, pulled, pushed, scratched, exhausted by affection. But humans are so disappointing. So, I'm here alone. Again, today. Teetering between excuses and total disregard, trying to wait until sundown before I get high and watch Star Trek: The Next Generation as an act of extreme defiance, because indulging in fantasies that involved hopeful futures feels fucking radical. And I'm ready to see every world that isn't this one. I'm storing it, I think. Resting and storing hope and belief like a hibernating bear in the hopes that it'll get me through this winter. I'll see you tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Or is it Monday? Or is it still Sunday? Actually, it doesn't matter. See you tomorrow. In a small town in the heart of Transylvania. Yeah, that Transylvania. And this is my third quarantine, really. So that's legally 49 days of nothing. The room where I am right now is the room where I used to keep my dolls when I was 13, 14, I had a nightmare that I was a doll myself. Everything is made out of glass, so I also feel like a fish in an aquarium. Because actually my parents are staring at me through the glass door. Mama, I'm doing some acting. No, I said acting. No, Mom. No, I'm sorry. Stop it, Mama. Stop it. Stop it. Oh, I'm trying to explain to my parents that this is acting now, and I'm acting. I'm doing something for my soul. I don't understand. As if the time stopped with their minds. I wish time would stop. They act as if I'm still 15 or even worse. I mean, look at that. What is this? Look. This is me when I was like 10. And it gets worse. Look. This is me when I was like maybe 8 or something. Who cares? I like myself in the present moment. And they make me feel like they don't like me in the present moment. It pisses me off. And every time I look at them and they smile, I see a new line of a wrinkle. And it's a reminder that time doesn't stop. I left home to United States 2 years ago. So I haven't been home in a year and a half too. I really thought I'm gonna come back stronger and better and bigger and wider and powerful and beautiful and pink. Yeah. I came home and I'm stuck. I'm stuck artistically. I'm stuck creatively. I am limited. And there's too much noise and too much information in isolation. And I tried to dance. I really tried. I have all this space right here. But
Joana, nu vrei un pahar de lapte?
no, Mom, I'm vegan now.
Hai, te rog, ia un pahar de lapte.
No,
Bea acum,
No,
că-i bun.
Ma, I stopped drinking milk when I was 15.
Da, dar e plin de
No,
vitamine.
Mom, I don't. Mom! Mom, it's into Zonko.
Wow, scuze.
You okay?
Scuze.
I enjoy speaking with the camera at least. Mom, go! The camera listens. I feel like I'm doing something creatively when I speak with the camera. Sometimes I get overwhelmed by the amount of memories I have in this place. And I went to acting school to learn the importance of being present in the present moment and dive in the present moment and feel it. But here I am staring at the glass door thinking that I had the best time of my life when I was 15. There is too much noise and too much information. Can you hear it too?
Hey, just give me a second. My brain's a little frazzled right now. Hey, so I have my workout clothes. I was planning to work out, but that's gone to shit. I was pretty on it in the beginning. Just don't feel like doing it anymore. You know what's so crazy though? New York City, the city that never sleeps, right? I'm sure that's probably controversial, the whole New York is dead line, but I'm from New York. I feel like I can say that, you know, born and raised. So, but it's so crazy because living here in New York, time just goes so fast. Everything is just so fast, so fast, so fast. When you go through things, you don't have time to stop and just go through them. It's like if your emotions are trying to catch up to you, but you're always on to like just the next thing. I've always been like this hard worker, just always on the hustle, 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 hustle and bustle. And I want to say in March, I probably went through one of the biggest breakups, biggest heartbreaks, first love. But I didn't feel anything because I was just constantly working and working and working. I would just fill up my time, you know, because New York, the city again that never sleeps, you find things to do. And then boom, here comes Corona. And definitely sat my ass down in my emotions. And it was hard. I'm not happy about it. I've always been the type of person to be strong, you know, not be vulnerable. Especially in this world, you have to be strong. On top of that, when you're a woman, you have to be extra strong. When you're a woman of color, you have to be extra, extra strong. And reality gave me a slap in the face. And I'm not happy about it. I don't want to feel like this. I'm not going to say I enjoy this moment. I would rather be continuing life as it is. But I guess I needed this. And it's just been a lot. Personal life, what's going on in this world. And there's nowhere to go. You just have to sit in it. Just sit and I guess wait it out, right? So here I am, trying to be productive, you know? But how long has it been? 7 months? How long can that last? So yeah, I guess, you know, here I am. It's been a forced upon, never-ending freaking therapy session.
Never-ending freaking therapy session. Wow, that was an experience. That was pause moments at their best. I was trying to work out and I would photograph each of you after or in between what you were telling me, because very often what you say becomes what your face tells us. And what was fascinating for me was that as you ended your speeches, you went into the most dramatic pause you could give me as a photographer. So that was very special. Let me just bring in now Nicola Murphy, who I spoke to right from the start of this, and Nicola has really put this together in a way that I've only just seen that for the very first time. I don't feel it was a performance at all. I felt it was the raw reality of what we've all been going through. So, Nicola, hello. You're in New York as well.
I am here, and I also really for the first time just saw everything in its entirety, because we have had a lot of conversations about what we wanted to say and talk about in this moment, but it's incredibly moving to really hear people's experiences, you know, because we've all gone through this experience together in different forms, yet I don't know that we've really opened ourselves up to what it has meant to us individually and collectively. So yeah,
I think in a way you're absolutely right. I think we do collectively tend to stay in our shells, and the very word isolation does tend to place us in that position, and we get so used to our spaces that eventually even opening the front door becomes quite alien to us. So it's a double-edged sword. We are almost want to be alone, but we hate being alone. And maybe that's the soul in us. Maybe that's the pause moment in all of us, where our mind is telling us things which we might or might not share with others. But then when we're in our own isolation, we don't actually talk about it, other than to ourselves in the mirror, maybe in the mornings. I don't know. You know, maybe that's where insanity comes in. So how insane are you, Nicola, after this experience?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I don't know. I think I might be in the middle. You know, everything is a bit of a roller coaster. Like we have, you know, these ups and downs, good days, bad days. And I think listening to everybody today, there were things that each person spoke to that I definitely could relate to and kind of brought up emotions in me, just very specifically, you know, the idea of what it means to look at your space in a new way, because we spend not that much time, especially if we're in a place like New York or London, we're in busy cities, we're out there, we're doing stuff. But, you know, when we kind of are forced inside and kind of spend this significantly more time in a space, it's interesting what that also brings up too. So yeah, lots of thoughts, but great moments of reflection, I think.
What occurred to me was it actually came a bit of a thought which potentially you'll all disagree with. But, you know, what is the theatre? The theatre is a space where you have an audience, and obviously that's what we're missing in a way, is the contact with others. But also, you know, mine disappeared when I put an exhibition on in March, and by the afternoon I was told that I couldn't have an audience. So it was left there. I left my photography up on a wall with no one to look at it. And it just occurred to me that when you're in your own space, you're always in your own theatre, really. And I suppose, is acting exactly that you find a different space to perform in, or are you always bringing yourself to that? I suppose you must do.
Yeah, I think that's, you know, something that all good actors do, is bringing a part of yourself to anything that you're exploring. I mean, I think it's the ultimate sort of exploration of empathy, what we do, which is so important always, but particularly now. And, you know, having our industry shut down is something that we talked a lot about with regards to how we're feeling right now. And isolation was definitely a word that came up a lot, but also reckoning with all of the different things that we kind of have to reckon with, and abandonment, because in many ways the theater kind of has been abandoned. You know, we're, as you said, having to find new ways and our own ways of continuing our art and our craft.
And I think in a way, finding your own way is finding yourself to a certain extent. And, you know, what's really fascinating about kind of this Zoom era is actually when you first meet a stranger and they open up their camera and you see their space, because that's their private space. It's not the space in an office. It's not the prepared space. Well, some people prepare it, that's for sure. But it is fascinating how people feel that they can give them a little bit more about themselves when they're in familiar spaces. Mm-hmm. And I wondered whether that's something that, you know, all the guys and gals who've just done that wonderful experience for us all feel about it. Shall we just get them to chat about it? That would be really nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. So let's get everybody back on, and Nicola and I will just sit back and listen to you, or just grabbing hold, because I noticed some things, especially when you all finished and were watching the start of the next performance, how you enjoyed it and how you really listened. Now, actors must obviously listen, but do you feel that you are listening more now that you've all been in your own isolation?
I will say that I am the unfortunate graduate of the class of the 2020, and I had to listen because I did acting on Zoom, and like all of us, if I wasn't to listen, I just looked like a fool, and it was sometimes recorded. So I had to. What about you guys?
I think for me, I'm more forced to listen with doing Zoom, because to me, being in my own personal space, yes, there is more of an intimacy. However, I think that there are also a lot more distractions, because I feel so comfortable here that it's not theater at all. I don't consider this any form of theater. I think it's a totally different thing, because, for me, theater is like being in the same space together, not only with an audience, but also with each other. And, like a wise woman once told me, David, a healthy person gives 6 hugs every day. And so to go 7 months without any hugs, I mean, virtual hugs are great, but that's not the same. And I think that's the same thing with acting. Like acting with each other on Zoom is wonderful, but there's something to be said with sharing the same space and being like having that material physical contact, because we're human beings, but I think that the Zoom is kind of pushing us like towards a different energy that I don't really know what it's about yet. I don't know, what do you think, Jonathan?
I think as people, as human beings, we grasp for connection, whether we want it all the time or we don't. Just like Ben was talking about, we want touch. But at the same time, if we don't, like, there's a beauty in being alone, but then when you are forced to be alone, you realize how much you take going outside for granted. And actually, I've been able to do a couple of patio performances here in Toronto, like just off my balcony. Well, I lived somewhere else, but it was a similar balcony to this. And all of my neighbors came out and got to hear me sing. And I did it 3 times. I gave 3 concerts in the month of September. And it was, like you said, like having people there and feeling that energy, it was so tangible. Yet, being on a screen like this, it's a different energy, but I think for all of us that have been isolated so long, we need some sort of connection. And when I'm looking at my screen like this and I see 8 windows open, 16 eyes looking at me, absorbing what I'm saying or how I'm looking, don't look at my pimples. It's a different form of energy, but I'm channeling in this focus, and it actually allows me to really just be in this moment here. And maybe it is because I know my environment here, that I'm very comfortable in it, that I'm used to it, that I'm able to kind of turn off my whole periphery, my whole like stress levels of what's going on in the world, and just focus in on this and focus and listen to what people are saying about their experience, whether it's a reading for some sort of Zoom meeting or just talking with our friends. And to be able to have an opportunity like that, I'm very thankful for it, because at first when we started isolation and people were starting to go into Zoom and they're like, oh, well, let's do a reading of this. Let's do this. Let's create our own type of content. I was like, I can't right now. I'm too stressed to do that. So it took 7 months to get to this point, but I'm happy to be at this point. How about you, Ben? How are you feeling?
Very similar. I mean, it really resonated with me when you talked about the beginning of the pandemic and the beginning of social isolation and all of us having to go into quarantine. But some people were so resilient, and I honestly still don't know how I feel about that. Like the number of, Zoom performances, or I'm a writer by trade, so I was asked to write for a lot of Zoom related performances and presentations, and it was exhausting. I didn't do any of them. I spent a lot of time feeling like I had some sort of obligation to continue to perform or continue to create, and feeling pretty awful that I couldn't do that and like be that person for other people, until I think mid-May hit, and I was like, why do I feel bad about this? I'm exhausted all the time. My brain is using at least, 80% of its full capacity, just trying to comprehend what next week is going to look like, because we keep getting hit with so many different things. So yeah, it's been like that, and it's, I've slowly gotten back into creating, and I've been developing new work and things like that. And so it's all coming back, but there's still this urge to just like stay under the covers in the morning and just be like, I'm not trying to hear anybody's voice today. Like, I'm going to stay under these covers. I'm going to find something to watch, or I'm going to make some food, and today's just going to be a wash. No news. How about you, Magdiel?
No, I just this whole time while you guys were talking, like literally in the back of my head, all I was thinking was, be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. I'm the type of person that I'm like a fake. I guess like I'm an extrovert, but I'm kind of like a fake extrovert. I like being home. So before this, I loved being home. I'm not really a phone person. Like, if after this and just being forced, like now you don't have a choice, like you are not going to be able to have interaction. It's not your choice. Like, this is what's happening. Like that, after that, I was like, after this all happened, I was just like, wow, like that interaction, like you guys were saying, that human interaction, that is needed. I guess you don't realize it as much when you have the option, or is the option to choose whether I want to see this person or not, but when it's forced upon you, it kind of makes you think like, wow, I was taking those things for granted. Like, just having that physical connection, seeing someone, being in that space, feeling their heat, like that is something you need, not all the time, but once in a blue, So
I have a question. So does that, when you say you have regrets, does that mean that like, because when I think back on like, all right, I didn't go out on that Friday night, or really any Friday night, because Friday nights are crazy, I don't look back on that and think, man, I should have gone out on Friday night, because Friday night is lit,
well, not
do you
more,
regret that
more,
specifically?
No, because like, to be honest, my job, what I do in life, it's nightlife work. So I don't really miss that stuff because that's work for me, My thing was more so like, maybe like a friend hit me up, just hang out, let's watch a movie, before all this happened. I'm like, no, I'm just too comfy in my bed. No, it's okay. Like, I don't want to go anywhere. Like, I'm too comfortable. And like, now I miss that, It's like, wow, I do want to be close to my friends and be able to share and just do those things that, that I did take for granted before because I was just too comfortable and I had choices. And, so yeah, it's been, I feel like, very much like an eye opener for me. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it's nice to have the option. Like,
yeah.
choices give us power, and when you have no choice, you feel like powerless and hopeless. But Luana, you said something really, I thought, profound that I loved about your parents, that you said that time stopped with their minds. And I just keep thinking about that over in my head. Like, I love that phrase, time stops with their minds, because I feel like that's what a lot of people are going through right now, in this like great pause and this depression of our world. And I was thinking about all of us and how we're actors and singers, and Ben, you're a writer, and we're all creative people and artists, and creation is the opposite of depression. So I mean, I guess this is a question for the room, but do you think that creativity has helped push through like that depression and that I know being stuck, like you mentioned, Luana, being stuck. But yeah, do you think that that's helped? Having a creative outlet?
It's interesting because so as soon as the pandemic started, my mind was, oh, great opportunity. I'm going to learn something. All of us thought this way, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn something new. I'm going to play an instrument. I'm going to practice my self-taping. I'm going to do so much. And all that so much ended up being so little as time went by. And for me, all my creativity, like I thought I'm infinite, all of a sudden it was the size of a room. And I thought a room can be a universe before. And when I was little, a room was a whole world. And now everything was so small and clustered, and I couldn't stand, and I just wanted to go out and touch and look. And yeah, I don't know, that was my experience. So if my photography, it looks clustered and little and stuck. My movements are stuck. My poems are so negative and not myself. My music, everything is lower because the space is pushing my spirit. It's as if someone said, hold on a minute, and that minute became a month, and that month became 3 months, and all of a sudden my world is in a frame, my creative world, really. Yeah, that was mine.
I think that's like that's really, like the way you just said that really resonated with me a lot. I like when you said like anger and everything feels angry. I really like, it was interesting having to go first in this experience because I'm always the last, I feel like, to speak. Usually I really don't know how to like talk about the things that are going on right now. And I really, like, it's not that I'm not listening or that I'm not reading and that I'm not like absorbing this constant like content that is being produced. It's just this, when it arrives at like me, the person, I realized that a lot of the work that I was doing before wasn't really like on my own opinions or on my own like thoughts and my own like leadership in my own creative thought. And that I feel like this time to kind of sit, especially with this project, has been really, I've really struggled with this project for some, like with trying to find the what I wanted to say. And I really enjoyed listening to all of you like so much. Like Jonathan, your like voice just like sent me, like on your last note, I was just like, I felt like crying. Like it was just so free. And I like, it's moments of like that where I've got to witness, I feel like the intimacy of people allowing themselves to be free in this moment when we can. The way that we're like Alistair said, like that you're looking in someone's private space, you know, this is theirs, this is not what we don't know this and we don't associate this space with them, it's theirs to share. And it's just so nice to have seen what you like all have been in for the past few months. And my experience has been weird because I moved a month and a half ago. And so to be doing this project in a new space that I'm not used to, that I don't have memories in, and that I don't have the majority of the pandemic in, has been kind of weird. But the moment that I did do was like, I'd just been here 2 weeks when that night had happened. But yeah, as far as like listening, I think it's been great, but it's also just been incredibly heavy. And to like find the way to process that and not, I feel very like just completely like absorb people's like experiences. Like I know I'm gonna walk away from today and just be thinking about you all for like the next 2 weeks, you know, and wanting to know you all better and more. And every time I'm like, I look like a bookmark and be like, I need to email this person once we can all like meet in person, because I really want to like see what their eyes look like, you know, the color of their eyes and the way their voice sounds when it's not through a computer. But you made me all feel like I wanted to like sit down with you all once we can do that.
I think that that's wonderful. I have to say that there were some sentences that came out which really resonated with me. And one was, arrives at me, the person. And actually, you are all arriving at you, the people. David described you as creatives and actors. Actually, you are human beings going through the emotions of uncertainty, of anxiety, of lack of touch with each other, lack of contact. I mean, during Time to Pause, have met 1,000 people who I've got to know, but never met and never hugged. And you're absolutely right. Part of that is what you crave and you miss. But at the same time, it is a bit of a search for who we are. And actually, you are human beings who happen to be creative. So of course, you're going to lose the opportunity to be creative because your human side is saying, I can or I can't cope with this. So you are actually hiding under your covers, or you're coming out, or you're delaying, or you're finding a moment to be able to say, like Ben, May was the moment, wasn't it, Ben? You kind of just went, okay, I'm going to get on with it now. But up until then, you still saw yourself as an actor whose profession had disappeared. But actually, when you realize that you were Ben, who happened to be an actor, that's very different. And I think that's very true of all of you. And, you know, I can kind of see it in your voices. Maybe you can even hear it in my voice because, you know, I always thought that I was the photographer who could get people to pause for me and I could get a great portrait of them. And I kind of never really looked enough at myself and wondered about my own vulnerabilities. You know, I kind of always felt I had to be strong for others so that I could find their vulnerability and almost cope with your vulnerability as opposed to mine. But even now I can hear my voice almost like croaking, as I can with some of you, because it's almost as if your voices are expressing an emotion too. I mean, I don't know if that's simply because I haven't had my cup of tea yet, but I kind of feel it in the way that you're talking and your performance. I've used the word performance. I don't like that word performance. You showed me who you are as individuals by telling me about that day in your life. You might see that it was a performance in your space there, in your theater, but you were telling me who you were. And that's kind of really important and possibly a lesson. I mean, I don't know if you feel that way. Let's go around quickly, just quickly, including Nicola, if that's all right, just to find a kind of positive in this, because, you know, we need positives. We still are very uncertain. You know, they're saying that theaters won't open, but can we not find something positive in how we are, so therefore we can transmit it into what we are best at doing? And, you know, you guys love acting, I love taking photographs. So yeah, let's go and pass the baton on to each of the other so that we know who's going next. So let's start with Dave, because I think he was the bravest with his towel on.
I know, I did put my shirt on. I took a shower. No, I didn't. So, it was just so wonderful to listen to everyone else's most intimate moments during this pandemic, and just like Leisha, she just gutted me when, you know, that I remember that weekend when RBG died, and that's when, you know, your diary entry took place. And just to be reminded of so many events in the world have happened since March 13th or whenever it began. And just to hear everyone going through the same thing, you know, I mean, we're all so different and yet we're all the same, you know, we're all human beings, as Alistair said. And just to know that I'm not alone, even though I feel alone and I get lonely, no one is alone, like Stephen Sondheim says. So there you go. What do you think, Ben?
I think, well, I will say this, after that point in May when I did kind of give in to, you know, okay, this is where I am, this is who I am, I'm not going to be writing, I'm not going to be performing. I actually started taking really long walks and taking a lot of pictures. And I hadn't taken a photograph in months, at least 6 months prior to that. It was something that felt immediate. It was something that soothed me. My Instagram became like, every other picture is like a flower on my Instagram now, just because in spring, the flowers were so gorgeous, which I don't think I would have noticed before. I think that was one of the big things that I guess I took away from this, is like, there were things that I was moving so quickly before I missed. And I had to ask myself, like, you know, is it particularly beautiful outside because people aren't out here? Or is it always this beautiful and I'm just running to the C train every morning and I don't look at anybody or anything else? I also started talking to my neighbors out on the street, which is kind of a big deal for me. How about you, Luana?
For me, so first of all, you guys, don't get me wrong, I'm not fighting my parents like daily because I'm this misunderstood actor. No, it just I rediscovered what space actually means for me, and it can be sacred and it can be a trap. It, for me, is this too. It's not in between. And before, when I was in New York, my space was just a place to sleep, nothing else really. And it became something else. It became a train station, and then it became a bathroom, then it became a forest. And with my mind, I could travel everywhere. But then it became ridiculous. So I don't know. It's so interesting because this pandemic really made me realize that I can count on my imagination, and I have the luxury, compared to people around the world, I have the luxury to call someone anytime I want, because I have internet. The internet saved all of us, really. And I'm thankful that I have all of this, and I have food, and also what struck me really was how nature in parts of the world, that picture with Venice and the water, that's so clear. It used to be so clear in the middle of pandemic. I don't know if you guys remember. And I was thinking, wow, we humans, we do so much harm to the planet when we are just on it. I don't want to do that anymore. I made a lot of decision of how I eat and how I think and how I cherish the space that I'm in. Whatever space I'm in, it's a different word for me now. Yeah. What about you, Magdalene?
I have to say that I am just, well, because of the pandemic, we're doing this, you know? So I just have to say personally for me, I think this was very much just this experience, and just the intimacy of it was very much a blessing. I feel like it's hard for people to open up and be, you know, raw. And I feel like sometimes it's scary for people to do it amongst, even to be honest, you know, a lot, I know a couple of you, but I don't really know everyone here. So I feel like just to still feel safe and be able to open up and be just vulnerable, I feel like that's very much a blessing. I'm gonna cry again. What is this? And no, I think also what you just said, Luana, I'm just very thankful. I feel like there's people right now in like horrible situations. You know, I'm very thankful to have a family, to have a home. I feel like this has just been, this whole experience in itself, just this, the pandemic has been such like inward work, you know? Like you said, Ben, this has been a stop in your tracks and just like look at the world around you. Sometimes we like to be very heavy on ourselves and ask why, but we don't take the moment to say thank you or just be grateful, you know? And I feel like this has really been just like one of those moments for me. And like, you know, just to learn to appreciate what you do have and those moments that you do get to appreciate those as well, you know? So yeah. How about you, Jonathan?
I can't go after that. You took so many words out of my mouth, actually. Positive. We've had so many weeks to be with ourselves and to get to know ourselves more. And as a performer, I've always, as an actor, as a singer, I've always kind of drawn either from a place of joy or a place of fear. And not even as a performer, as a human being. I either feel something in my gut, like in here, just underneath my heart before I do something. Oof, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I have to throw myself in this situation in order to see how it pans out. Or this, I'm so excited to do this, I'm just ready to go. And my life has always been joy or fear, joy or fear, joy or fear. And every week has been that as well. But I've come to this reckoning of trying to understand myself and ask myself why it's one of those two things. Why can't they either be both or be other different? Why can't I act as a person from other perspectives? So I've been happy that I've had this time and with absorbing the environment that I'm in, trying to figure out how I can come from a place of power and use those different tools that I have or that are in my environment to help me react from other places and not just fight or flight, because there's so much more in this world. And then, you know, as you can see behind me, I can see some blue sky and clouds, and I've been so grateful. I've moved as well, Isha, like this is my 6th apartment in quarantine since March up here in Toronto. And there were the last 2, I didn't have windows really to see what was outside. The first one, I didn't have any windows at all. The second and third, I was on the 31st floor of these 2 buildings, and I just got to see the lake, Lake Ontario. And then the last 2, I had no windows, and I felt very closed in. Now I have this, and I'm so grateful to wake up and just see space and to be able to breathe in that space and know that, like David said, I'm not alone. I'm very thankful for all of that, and to have the opportunity to explore my emotions, because this week I can feel upset and allow that to be. The next week I can eat cookies all day long. Leisha, I hope you're going to deliver me some of those, because I love sweet and salty.
Well, no, you did not want to eat these. They were not.
But when we meet, I hope you can make a better, well, you know, just add more dough to it, you know?
Yeah.
How are you feeling, Leisha?
I'm feeling very emotional. I'm just feeling, I suppose I feel, to summarize, like, I feel very grateful for my partner, for my boyfriend that I live with. I have a disability that means that I usually go to physiotherapy twice a week, and I haven't been able to do that since March. And like, he's really helped with making me like do my exercises, like virtually, making basically becoming like that person for like that I need to help with making my body feel normal some days. And I like, this is kind of crazy, but I after like 3 years, I won the New York City housing lottery over in the middle of this fucking crisis, which is like amazing, and it's gonna change like the way that I can like live as like a disabled woman. And I'm very grateful for my partner for making me not feel like guilty for having had such a fucking blessing in the middle of such a terrible time for other people. I really struggled with feeling like of all the people right now that deserve to have the healthcare that I have, and to have the I suppose housing that I have now. I feel I could name 1 million more people in this city that I would rather have this comfort right now. And he's really helped me feel like, after like years of like struggling with like other things and being an immigrant in the US, and having become disabled after moving to the US, that that it's a good thing, and that it's something that I can use to better my own community. So I'm very grateful for him and for the highs and lows of this.
Amen.
Nicola, sorry.
You're
How are you
okay.
feeling?
Well, just to kind of summarize, I think like what has been amazing about this project has really reminded me of, I feel in many ways my role as a director is always to bring the right people together. And, you know, having each of you here, some people know each other, some don't. Like Ben and I used to work together a lot back in the day. We haven't had a chance to do that in a while, and it feels so nice to like reconnect and to connect with Alistair. I mean, I just don't know if we weren't in this situation, if we would have had this opportunity. So I suppose in a way it has allowed us to kind of reach beyond a little bit, sort of the circle that we're kind of used to maybe seeing or moving in. And that has inspired me to want to kind of continue that, you know, with projects that I work on in the future, because I think the more that we can kind of cross-culturally connect, the better, because we realize like we're all in this same world going through this situation together. So yeah, I'm very grateful and very like humbled to have you all here as part of this group. And, you know, that is what will get us through, is, you know, each other, I think, at the end of the day. So yeah.
I'm very, very, very grateful to you all. I have to say that I had a very short documentary made about my work, and it was called The Real You, and it was based on my life as a photographer for 40 years, where I had kind of changed my dimension from wanting to go from photographing actors for magazine covers and things, and always wanting to make them feel good about themselves, and great lighting in studios and all of those things, to try to find a truth in who you are. And one of the big questions in the documentary comes to that moment where it says, who are you? And what fascinated me about your performances, the experience that you gave us, was that your first answers were like a diary entry of what you do. And your last answers were telling me, a stranger to you and each other, who you are. And I feel very grateful that you've been able to open up and to do that. And potentially that's what we should be doing with each other and others. So thank you all very much. It has been moving, and it's given me therapy. I hope it's given you therapy. I've had therapy from so many people. I've been advantaged, I think. Although, do you know what? I hate the sound of my own voice after all of this. It's terrible. You get to the point where you're listening and you're going, oh, get to the point, Morrison. Shut up. So listen, guys, thank you. Shall we do it again? Because I tell you what, I think we should keep in each other's company because we really ought to. So why don't we find another moment? Monthly, bi-monthly, whenever you need to, let's just do it all over again, shall we? Yeah. And how nice that it ended up on a positive note. So thank you all very much indeed. And one day I will give you not just a hug, but the biggest snog I can find. All right. See you guys later.